How is it going, everyone? Session here. Welcome to officially, we have ourselves the first reveal of Texas Chainsaw Massacre content to come to the game, available November 28th, which is only a week from today. New victim Danny and new family Nancy. So there has been a lot of rumors and a lot of speculation that Nancy was going to eventually come to the game. I did get a little bit of a teaser about it as well. Danny, however, is a new face to me in its entirety. I didn't really have any idea about the new victim coming to the game, and so seeing Danny come into the game is a very refreshing, just a like sense of excitement, if you will, for the fact that we're getting a new victim and new family member to the game. So without further ado, let's check it out. Learn all about the newest characters coming to TCM. We have two new playable characters coming to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game, named Nancy and Danny. Here's some information about both of them from the creative director, Ronnie Hobbs. So Danny Gaines is the new victim. Danny grew up severely disadvantaged, bouncing between numerous foster homes before finally landing with proper caretaker. His rough exterior is a reflection of this upbringing, but beneath it lies an intelligent and caring person. After meeting Maria, the two connected deeply, becoming nearly inseparable. Heartbroken and devastated that he didn't accompany Maria on her wildflower trip, Danny headed towards New Texas immediately after her disappearance, refusing to wait for the others. His study and tamper ability, which lets him identify and examine important objects, will be crucial to not only his but the entire group's survival. Danny is a Gemini. His hometown is Fort Worth, Texas. He's 21 and 6'1". Okay. Danny's backstory was inspired by the time I spent in Fort Worth visiting the Gladney Center for Adoption. I didn't purposely set out to visit the place, but I stumbled upon the original building one day and it sparked my interest. I then did some research on the organization and incredible work they've been doing for well over 100 years, and instantly knew I wanted to use it as a basis for Danny's life. I love the idea of these two kids, Danny and Maria, who both basically come from nothing and had to overcome so much in their life, falling in love and bonding with each other. It just felt right. Danny's voice actor is the incredibly talented Michael Johnson from Teen Wolf. Okay, love that. So what it sounds like to me that is his ability of studying and tampering, letting him identify objects, basically says that he'll be able to find things like the fuse or even like the valve pump, right? Maybe even like bone scrap and that sort of thing. So that's gonna be really cool to see come into place. I think also on top of that, since it does matter that like he's not going to be a character who's just like there for like the aesthetic, right? He actually is going to have stats kind of tied to his concept as well. So what I'm under the impression of is he's going to have the combination of strength and proficiency. I don't think that there's any character currently in the game who has that as like a concentration, because like Julie is proficiency and endurance, Connie is stealth and proficiency, right? There is some toughness and strength in there. You got some toughness and endurance. So I think that Danny will be the first character who primarily focuses on like strength and proficiency as a combination, which is nice and exciting. So I feel like that's going to allow you to actually utilize some of that for just being able to just, still complete the objective. And his ability is obviously not overbearing, it's not overpowerful. It's going to be very helpful and a really good like information uh character, right? And I mean, I'm sure like also being able to figure out what his power can do with enhancements as well might be even better. So we'll definitely see what kind of comes into play in that case scenario. And I'm really excited to see kind of what comes into play with him as well. So Danny Gaines, very good inclusion power wise. Loving it. Now you got the new family member, Nancy. Not much is known about Nancy other than she's been married three times. Three times. Yeah. With each husband dying from mysterious causes or vanishing completely. Locals refer to her as Black Nancy, alluding to the constant death and misery that surrounds her. She's an expert at using her friendly looks to lure unsuspecting victims into the situations. Many years ago, Johnny's mother made this innocent but fatal mistake. With Johnny's mother dead, Nancy finally had the one thing her husband could never give her, a child of her own. So as sick and twisted as Johnny is, remember, even monsters have makers. Her heinous barbed wire traps perfectly reflect the pain and torture she's willing to inflict on anyone in her path. Barbed wire traps. Okay. Nancy is a Sagittarius. Her hometown is unknown, and she is 5'9". Kind of a tall girl, isn't it? BAFTA winner Sissy Jones was tasked with bringing Nancy to life. She did both the motion capture and voiceover performances, using her years of expertise in character study to craft Nancy's twisted and menacing persona. Nancy's character itself is based on the amalgamation of multiple female serial killers throughout history. I took a lot of personality traits from studying those killers and crafted them into what I feel is a pretty sick and twisted individual. She's also fully responsible for turning Johnny into the monster he is, but that's an entirely different story. Okay, pretty sweet. So Nancy's power is barbed wire traps. So it sounds like to me that it, for simplicity's sake, right? It's just barbed wire, which most likely will be something that you put as an obstacle and basically, slow down the victims from being able to traverse very quickly over certain things. I don't really know if there's like an obstacle per se to it, but um it does seem like that there is either you can either just quietly move over it and not be too affected by it, but if you're going to run through it, most likely it'll injure you and you'll make noise basically taking the damage, and that'll also reveal to the family that you basically walked over it, sort of thing. So I can imagine the enhancement for the power basically letting Nancy see the aura of people who are inside of her barbed wire trap, and also it um if people are running through it, then the aura gets revealed as well. It might be like a full family member thing, like all the family can see that, or it's like a singular thing. It's kind of hard to really figure out, but her power definitely seems pretty chaotic. And in my mind, I see her being mm, I want to say she's like a combination of like strength and like endurance, kind of sort of like how like Leatherface's stats are, or maybe she's actually pretty balanced because there's no balanced, there's no like evenly split down the middle stats family in this game, at least not yet. I feel like she might be the first one. If not, she might lean more towards endurance and blood harvest, but I could also see her being like endurance and toughness and a little bit less, or maybe even more endurance and blood harvest and less strength. Um, but I don't know. I don't really have an idea. I just feel like really she can just be like straight down the middle. But if they had to give her two concentrations minus one, they probably won't focus too much on strength. But they also could avoid focusing on blood harvest. I can see it go either way. So power wise, she seems pretty. She seems like she would be great to pair up with a lot of people. Like if you combine her with Sissy, the poison and the barbed wire thing is pretty strong, I would say. Um, Even having like hitchhiker, it'd be crazy if you can have the hitchhiker trap somewhere and then have Nancy put her trap on top of it. So imagine having like a bone trap underneath barbed wire, and like that combination already just becomes pretty sick and twisted as it could be, because to be able to put two traps under one space is actually dangerous. I do imagine though that there would be one way to do it over another. Like you have to put down Hitch's first before you put down Nancy's. I'm guessing if that was the case scenario. I mean, but if it doesn't work that way and you can do it, Nancy then Hitch, that's also just as fine. But in my mind, I feel like you have to put down the Hitch trap first, then put Nancy's trap down, and then you can kind of have like a crazy combination thing. That'd be pretty cool. Trying to think like what else would there be a combination for? I mean, Cook and uh Cook and Nancy would also be pretty scary, I would say. But I don't know. We'll see. I do imagine though that like she'll be very paired well. I mean, of course, and I mean, not even like avoiding the Leatherface situation. The fact that Nancy and Leatherface combined together would be pretty dangerous is actually, it is scary to think about, because the fact that he'll be at full sprint with the chainsaw in hand and then having Nancy be able to put the trap down and slow you down, sort of thing. Even if they're trying to either like pincer attack or even both go for the push on somebody who's running over the barbed wire, it does make it just like that much easier for both of them to just kind of go for the chase. So that'll also be very interesting to me. I mean, we don't have a long wait, thankfully, so we only have a week to actually get our hands on this content. I'm really excited for it. Honestly, I feel like this game has been getting a very big shift in terms of its playstyle and what people are looking forward to. And honestly, I'm really happy about everything that the game is doing. So, you know, and they've also recently released some patch notes, right? And also did like uh a future to come, not necessarily a roadmap, but they kind of went into detail talking about like what the game is going to be offering and changing very soon. So a really easy example of this is they're taking out the cutscene with the grandpa when he wakes up, basically whether the victims are making too much noise or if the family manages to feed the grandpa in time, right? They're just taking out that entire cutscene. um I personally will miss the aesthetic of that. I really enjoyed it. Uh, but I understand that sometimes the pacing of the game has gotten faster, and I think that the devs are trying to slow it down. With that also being said, they are apparently just really, really punishing victims for moving too quickly, which honestly was a personal frustration that I also experienced. And I think a lot of the player base can also agree to that to a degree that like um when you're playing on the family side and then you're basically playing Leatherface, and then before you even get to rev the chainsaw, the grandpa wakes up. I did find that to be a very frustrating situation. Um, and then of course, like if you're playing the family side and then you hear that one person making noise the entire time and trying to kind of like speed run out of the map, there's no reason why you don't immediately go take them out first and you just like triple team take them out of the equation and then don't worry about it, sort of thing. So I think that with those changes that they've been thinking about working on, and also the changes coming to the game with a new victim and a new family member, it's going to be a very nice just mix of everything inclusive. The gameplay experience should be incredibly fun, and I'm really excited for it. So hope you guys are looking forward to what there is to come with Danny and Nancy. Honestly, like I said, I think that this content is going to be so much fun. um, and I think on top of that too, we're going to be getting even more maps, and there's going to be new tasks that have to be performed in terms of escaping as well. So I don't think they've necessarily announced a new map yet, but I do think that that's going to be the next thing on the list of content to come out, is another map, and then that map will have new ways of being able to escape and just kind of navigate around the area. And I'd love for them to continue to keep on keeping with the idea of that stealth component, because that's honestly one of the best focuses that this game has to offer, and I really, really love that gameplay style. So honestly, TCM has been on a roller coaster of just wins through and through, and the ride is going to keep getting better and becoming more fun. So I'm really excited for this game to come out with the new content. So thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoy the content to come in a week, and I will see you guys there. Peace out.